Happy Wine Wednesday, everyone. How are you doing this week? Holly, what are you sipping on?
Just water. Just
See,
water.
I'm the only wino left. I hope there's
Just
somebody out
water.
there joining me with a. I'm on Pinot Noir, but I've been slowing down. I'm trying to slow down. But anybody out there sipping on anything, let me know in the comments. Sorry I've been absent, guys. I've been super busy. I know I'm not going to rattle on about the excuses. I'm just sorry. But I'm here tonight, and I hope you guys come and join us and chat with us. Um, Couple of things we're going to do different just for the time being. Um, Holly and I were talking before the episode about how our current seahorses have gotten older, the herd has gotten smaller. We're not as involved as we used to be. I completely intend to revamp my herd as soon as I get my work life under control. It's just that I've been crazy with work and like I can't even get to one Wednesday. I don't feel like I'm doing a great enough job with the seahorses. And so I've kind of like taken a step back for a minute. But that doesn't mean I'm leaving the community because I completely intend to breed at some point. It's a passion of mine, it's a love of mine. I'm going to do it again and be successful, gosh darn it. um, but we're going to also just take a little step back on Wine Wednesday. Now, I'm saying that with the knowledge that I just learned that there's someone named Noelle who sent me an email a while back that wants to help with Wine Wednesday. So this is, pending further notice, so to speak. So what we're planning at this point is Sophie and I are super, super busy. We still care very much about the community and about helping seahorse keepers. And we just love just talking with you guys about seahorses because they're freaking awesome, right? So we don't want to take too far of a step back, but what we're going to do is for a minute, we're going to do every other week Wine Wednesday. Sophie and I will get together and we'll start doing better with the advertising. So you guys, if you guys, I'm sure you're not setting your clock by Wine Wednesday, but if you really, if you want to come and you're afraid you'll miss it, we'll have reminders and things like that so that you can know, this is the week, this is not the week. And that way we make sure that we're here on the days we say and that neither one of us is, bogged down with trying to get everything together every week. And again, I don't mean to make it sound like a bad thing because we love doing it. It's just a lot when you're working and, she's in school and et cetera, et cetera. So I am going to reach out to Noelle. So this could change as soon as next week. We might be here next week and change the whole scope of things. But what we will do is make sure that we announce anything on social media. So Sophie and I both run the social media networks. So we'll go on every channel and just let you guys know if we are going live next week. If not, we'll be back the week after. That being said, I know that, with me not showing up and with not having many guests lately, it's not been a big following lately. But the thing is, we've remained here. We've remained here, part of the community, trying to help newcomers. So we don't want to give that up because it might be really helpful to somebody at some point, right? All right, Holly, smack me around, tell me to quit rambling. Okay, I'll quit. All right, so tonight, and I am excited to be here, but I'm sure it's on my face, I'm exhausted. So if you guys have questions, it is open chat. So ask your questions because we can talk about anything and we will talk seahorse related. But I'm just saying, I do have 2 new fur babies. But again, seahorse related is where we're staying tonight. And we're here for you guys, right? We're here for the community. So if you have questions and we're talking about something you don't care about, bring us back to the topic you want us to talk about. Just ask a question, we'll answer it. But getting started, I thought a topic that I don't think has been discussed in a while is tank baits. Or has that been something discussed recently?
I don't think so.
And what I like about the topic of tank mates is it's so debated. Okay.
Mhm.
B, every single one of us has done things differently, just showing that you can do things differently. And C, things have changed drastically in the past few years. Like it went from, it was scary to keep anything with anything to now people are keeping many new things with seahorses and being successful. There are some caveats, right? Like don't believe everything you see online. And if you're just new to seahorses, my advice is always going to be start with just seahorses. But once you've kept seahorses for a minute and you know what you're doing, now let's talk about what you can do with your tank to make it cool. And there are other things besides tank mates. I mean, tank mates could be coral, could be macros, etc. But Holly, I think you're the one that kept the most tank mates out of the three of us. So what mates did you keep? And
Well,
how'd it go?
I started out with a cleaning crew originally. Before I even got the seahorses, I got the cleaning crew first. So I had an assortment of hermit crabs, and they were supposed to be the blue-legged hermits, which are, seahorse safe. But it ended up there were some other ones in there too, which ended up being fine, but they got big. They could have been a problem, but they never were. So I had an assortment of hermit crabs and some snails, and then I also got a mandarin dragonette,
And that's the one that
and
I've always wanted to keep is the mandarin. So I
yeah,
don't mean to I
they're
don't mean to
cool.
interrupt. We'll go on with your list, but just with the
Mhm,
mandarin, how did that go?
mhm,
Because one of the things I always feared
mhm,
with getting a mandarin with seahorses is that they're both picky eaters and need specific foods. And so I never was one that did a lot with pods and that kind of thing in a seahorse
mhm,
tank because I was more focused on making it more sterile.
mhm.
So how did you navigate that? How did that work for
Well,
you?
I started out actually when I was interested in getting one. My local fish store said the way to do it is to add pods to the tank first
Mm-hmm.
and let them reproduce until you can see them all over the glass of the tank. So I did that. And when I had a colony of the copepods, that's when I got my mandarin, and I had her about 5 years. She learned to eat the frozen mysis along with the seahorses.
Which is cool.
They
I
they
mean,
got along fine, yeah. So she would come and eat with them at their dish, because I fed the seahorses at dishes, and she would watch them. And like, animals are always curious what somebody else is eating. I
right.
found all animals are like that. So she was curious, about what the seahorses were eating, and eventually, figured it out and ate with them. And then the other fish I had was a goby. I've had two. I had one goby. We had a huge fire in our town before I got the seahorses, and we were evacuated for almost 4 weeks. So during that time, the original things I had in the tank, I lost. I lost one goby and and cleanup crew.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's when I got the others. So I got another goby, which I still have now, a blue spotted goby. And I have one crab left out of the crab assortment. And they're both about 8 years old. So
So with the
that's it. Yeah.
crabs, I've always been so with snails, they just didn't seem there were some that would last forever and ever, the typically the bigger ones.
Mhm.
But some of the snails, I'd buy them, they'd, be all over the tank and then they'd just dwindle off and I'd
Yeah,
realize, ooh, I've got no more cleanup crew and I'd have
mine
to replace them.
disappeared. Mhm.
So how often did you replace, or
I
did you
never did replace the
really?
snails. Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't. I
But with
didn't
the
replace
crabs,
the snails. Now I have limpets that just showed up out of nowhere, which is funny because I don't have live rock anymore or anything like that. It's been years, but all of a
see,
sudden limpets showed up out of nowhere. So I've
no
got
one has ever been able to answer this question. I can't answer it either, guys, because I've had tanks where you can't buy limpets, at least as far as I know.
yeah,
The last time I checked, you couldn't, because I love them. They are
yeah,
like
I don't know. They
awesome
just showed up.
cleaners.
My guess is
And
they were in the overflow box all
see,
along.
but here's my point, Holly, is that you're talking about you don't add anything to this tank.
No, I haven't
How are
added
they in
anything
the overflow
in
box?
years. Well,
The
they
same.
they maybe were years ago and just finally worked themselves out.
I don't buy
Oh,
it.
and
I don't buy it.
I had
That's the
also
way it happens, though, Kelly.
shrimp.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They had to be somewhere. I mean, they didn't come from nowhere, I'm sure.
Well,
What I thought was unique about them, when one spawned, they all spawned in the tank at the same time. And you get these little limpets there. They got a hole in the center,
Mhm.
and you see this white cloud coming out, just like when a clam emits its whatever.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So these limpets um, in my main reef tank, the ones that I had in there, they, they came along with the rock. But it was a, excuse me, it was a lot of years before I even saw any. So I think
Mhm.
it was a case of
So, so
it
you
took a
think
while
like,
for them to get there and grow big enough so I could see them. And then they continually got bigger and bigger. But when they spawn and you see all this white stuff coming up, um, there was enough to cloud my whole 90-gallon tank. Um, not as
sure,
bad as when my clams spawned,
right.
because the big difference are like my clams were huge.
Yeah. But
And
with the limpets, so you're suggesting that, for instance, in Holly's case, she started with rock, but
yeah,
she hasn't had rock in years.
yeah,
And you're saying that some eggs or some tiny baby limpets were somehow still in the tank.
there's spores that will attach somewhere, and
Okay.
then eventually, when the spores find conditions right, then they will develop.
Gotcha. Well, and I'm not saying, I'm sure that is how it happens. I know they don't just
Mhm.
appear, but I always wish that someone would breed them. Like, and I can see where probably the work would not be worth the effort. And if no one knows enough about them,
I
you
know
know,
nothing about them. They're just
yeah.
there, and they're not that many. There's only I see them around the tank, but I can usually only count maybe
Oh,
5,
really?
maybe. There's sometimes they're so tiny, I don't see them, so there maybe but I see the bigger ones. There's some that are a little bigger and they grow algae, so they have a little
Mm-hmm.
flag on top. That's how I keep track of them.
A
So there's
little
about
flag.
5, maybe 10 of those, and now and then, I when I'm siphoning, sometimes I'll get them in my,
Yep.
bucket, but they hold on, so I'm able to rescue them and put them back in the
Well, I
tank.
wish someone had ever figured out how to cause a situation where they breed or bred them, because I
Mhm,
would have bought them. And
mhm.
you talk about snails, you talk about limpets. I mean, it's probably not enough money for someone to like do it as this, I'm breeding limpets, right?
Yeah.
But doing it on the side, if someone never figured it out, oh my gosh,
I
it's one of
saw
my
them for
favorites.
sale way back in the 90s.
They what?
And I saw them for sale, and it was someplace in the States. Uh,
Really?
yeah, but I have a feeling they were collected, not bred.
Mm,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
that
Cause
makes
I mean,
sense.
yeah, because I used to try to figure out these little guys, and
Mhm.
I never could.
Yeah.
And in every like not every tank. That's the other thing. It's not every tank. I think you might be onto something with saying like a tank that had rock or something
Mhm.
like that at one point, because I never saw them like in my hybrid tank or
Yeah.
my, certain tanks. I never saw them, but it usually was tanks that I never kept any rock or
Mhm.
anything like that. Whereas any other tank, man, they would just show up and they'd be cleaning your filters and they'd be cleaning your hoses and
Mhm.
just, I mean, amazing little cleanup crew, I think, personally.
Well, if I had a lot, they'd probably be better at cleaning up, but
Yeah, yeah.
mine aren't that great at cleaning, and they tend
Well,
to stay in one
it
place
would
all.
be nice if they would clean solid rather than just these little trails all over the place.
Right.
Right?
Well, and that's just
And
like,
you got these pathways and that's it.
Yeah.
right. But
So
that,
then you
That's how
get
my
this off
freshwater
and you
tank
take
is.
your magnet cleaner and clean it yourself.
well,
Yeah.
maybe they're not perfect cleanup crew. Maybe they're detectors or advisors. Like, hey, look
They
at
can show you
this.
where to clean.
Yeah.
Well, I think once you get them, if you lose them, it's a sign you got problems.
Oh, yeah, that might be. Yeah, that makes
Mhm.
sense. And I was gonna say it's a good comparison to like the. Oh, I don't even know how to say the name. What's the little white things that eat Aptasia?
The white
Um,
what?
the little white. They look
Oh,
like little frilly things that eat the
oh,
Aptasia.
nudibranch.
Nudibranchs. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. It's like
Nudibranch.
them.
Yeah.
If you have an Aptasia
I
problem,
had one briefly. It
they're
disappeared.
amazing, but the thing is you can't do one. If you talk to a nudibranch breeder who's worth any weight, he's going to tell you, oh no, how big's your tank? You need 6 for this much square footage to really clean up your problem, and then you need to be part of a community, because if there is no Aptasia, they'll die.
They're
Like once they
expensive
clean it
too.
up,
That's why I
you've got to.
had one. I bought one and it came and it was tiny
Mhm.
and it was lost in the mix. Like
Yeah.
within a day or two, I couldn't see where it was because it was tiny little thing.
Well, and that's maybe what we should focus in on is like I said, let's talk cleanup crew or tank
Mhm,
mates. But the thing is, why are they okay? And
mhm,
how did they benefit or not your tank?
mhm,
Because like with nudibranchs, they can be really amazing, but they're only for a focused, specific goal. There's
mhm,
no other point to have them other than Aptasia, and they're so slow and they take so
mhm.
long to actually move around and get to the Aptasia, that if you have an outbreak, you have to get a lot of them
I
to
had
actually make a difference.
peppermint shrimp, speaking of
Yeah.
Aptasia too, and
Yep.
those were pretty cool.
Yes. And they were my answer for Aptasia too. But man, I always wanted to do the nudibranchs because they're cool
Yeah, they're
looking,
cool. It was
Yeah.
cool. He was tiny though, I could barely see him, and then, like I said, he got
He
lost in the
disappeared.
tank, and I didn't replace it because at the price that it was
Sure.
to lose him and only get him that tiny, that there was no way I was gonna do a bunch
Right.
of nudibranch. They're
Well, and
just
I won't ask you live who you bought it from, because the person
Mhm,
that I was going to buy them from was really, really honest with me. And
mhm,
I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. He was upfront and he was
mhm,
like, you know,
mhm,
you don't want to buy just one. You have to buy many if you're trying to deal with an issue. You don't buy them just for fun, you buy them for a
mhm,
reason. And once you buy your pack, you have to understand again that once your tank's cleared, you have to either give them to someone who has a problem with Aptasia, or
mhm,
know that they're going to die off
mhm.
because that's their food. Were you raising your hand, Ray?
No, but
Oh, okay.
I will comment that again back in the 90s, the Reef Club here in London, um, somebody got the nudibranchs, and what they would do is when somebody was through with them, they would already have connections with somebody else in the club that
Yes.
needed them,
They'd
and they're
move around, huh?
turn them over. But after a couple of years,
Well,
uh,
sure.
that original population kind of
I'm not
fell
even
off.
sure how long they live, so that makes sense. They probably don't
Yeah.
live that long. But that's
Yeah, I
again,
just got mine from a big company, like mail order. I
yeah.
didn't know anyone that had them.
Right. Well, so that and that's the thing. That's why I want to keep Wine Wednesday going, even though I'm tired and everybody's tired. It doesn't matter. It's that community connection.
Mhm,
Like if we have resources that we can help you with, or you have. I mean, that's
mhm,
these clubs and connections like this. That's how things get done well, right? When people work together.
mhm,
So just that point. And then working together in the tank, right? Whether it be tank mates, cleanup crew, whatever. Um, the Mandarin, again, just to jump back just for a second, did you feel like you had to take care of him separately at first? Because that was always
no,
my fear.
I didn't take care of it at all. It
Oh,
took care of
okay.
itself because it was just eating copepods.
Yeah,
And the only thing I had to do was if it looked like the copepod population was getting low, I'd add more copepods.
which copepods?
But um Tigger are the kind we have here.
Really?
Mhm.
Huh. And
Yeah.
isn't that the kind also that, like, there was some story at some point where they became, I don't know, a problem with seahorses, or am I thinking of something
Cheryl
else?
used to always say that, but that's what I fed my baby seahorses,
Oh,
actually, was
gotcha.
the Tigger pods, and so
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, Cheryl Taylor said they were a problem because they, could bite the baby seahorses and hurt them,
Well,
but
you never had a problem. Your baby seahorses ate them. So, right.
yeah,
There you
so,
go.
I mean, I don't know, I didn't feed them often, though, they were kind of what I used to tide them over when I didn't
Sure.
have brine shrimp ready, is how I used them,
Sure.
but, the Tigger pods were the only ones. I mean, I live in a rural area, so they're the only ones that were sold in my local fish store, so that's what
Sure.
I had access to.
No, and I get it. Well, yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely makes sense.
that's the only pods I've used, but yeah, that's what the Mandarin ate till
Yep.
she figured out how to eat the seahorse's food, and then she was eating
See, and
that.
that's so cool. I mean, you know how many people talk about Mandarin? And, I've heard of people getting them to eat like pellets and stuff, but it's so rare. Most
You
people
can buy
can't
them trained to eat mysis, I see
now,
them
now,
sometimes, yeah.
right now. But back in the day when I wanted one, no, you
Mhm.
couldn't. You could not.
Yeah,
And many people lost them because they needed, just like seahorses, specific
more
food.
nutrition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's really cool. Great point, Holly, that now
Mhm.
you can buy them captive bred, trained to
Mhm.
eat these foods. I mean, it's really cool.
Mhm.
We've come so far with,
Yeah.
these exotic animals. But Ray, did you ever do any tank mates, or what kind of, or any cleanup crew, or did you not do any of that
No
ever?
cleanup crews in any tanks. The limpets, I did consider cleanup crew because I had to clean the tank anyway. Uh,
Yeah. They're more like other pets.
I never
There you go.
had any limpets in my seahorse tanks. But
Really?
no.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. Well, probably because your seahorse tanks were so sterile, you know?
yeah, that's like I made sure whatever went in was sterile before it went in.
Yeah.
Um, now,
So with seahorses, did you ever do anything? You said no cleanup crew, not tank mates. Did you do any kind of coral or any macros or anything with seahorses, or just
yeah, I had
always sterile?
basic simple ones like I kind of did double duty. I'd use the seahorse tanks to raise the corals and
Oh,
the
yeah.
the leather hand
Yes.
corals,
Mhm.
because they were just simplistic. They multiplied on their own. You didn't have to do anything, and that's basically it. And then as far as anything else, I had the one tank where I had the macro in it that we had discussions on a long time
Sure.
ago.
Sure.
But other than that, no, everything else was artificial decor.
So, oh shoot, sorry.
By the way, I typed the
ahead.
link in there. Can
Yeah.
you see it?
Yep.
That is um, a site that we've really recently just found on Facebook. Never heard of them before, but he claims he's been raising hundreds, if not thousands, of seahorse fry over a long period of time, and he's
Oh,
selling them. So
Oh, is that Greg? I think I saw his thing. He's in I forget what state. Not out here where I am though. He's closer to you guys.
you might want to make a note of that so that
sure.
you have it for the future.
Yep. Yep. Maybe even see if he wants to come in here and talk. Yeah, that'd be great.
Mhm. Yeah.
Dang it, Ray. I was going to ask you a question, then you got me off topic. What was the last two things you said? You said nothing stare. Oh,
He said he had
man.
artificial decorations.
Before that.
About the leather coral?
Yeah, the leather and the
Yes.
full
Thank
corals.
you, Holly. So my question was, what did you ever do about the shedding? Or did you just not care?
I didn't worry about the shedding. It got taped, like it was all very filmy, and it would get sucked into my um, power heads with the quick filters on them.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
then like it was a continual thing with me, and it was an important thing that you continually clean these filters out.
Right.
Too
Right.
many people stick them on and they kind of forget about them until the damn flow gets cut back. Well, by that time you're already increasing your
Right.
dissolved organics because of all the decay set in.
Mm-hmm. No, I just wondered because with those leather corals or soft corals, I would always just be worried that they were sick or something was wrong when they would close up and start shedding, and I just wondered if that ever affected you. I don't know.
I never worked. Well, I'd had them for decades before I started using them in the Seahorse tank. So I was
Gotcha.
used to what went on. Like green star polyps, pulsing xenia, the cold corals, and the leather hand corals. I made a lot of money on those.
Yep. I got you. That's what I always wanted to do. I wanted to do green star polyps like a back wall, but it would never grow where I wanted it to. It'd go everywhere else,
Yeah.
but not up the wall. I don't know why, but
Well, the thing was, just put rock rubble where it's growing, and it'll grow up under the rock rubble, and then you pull it. You have to
move
cut
it.
it away, but
Mhm.
and so it leaves a gap there. But you've got that little rock there, and then you can put it in somebody else's tank,
Yep.
and it'll sit
Spread it.
and spread out from there. And
Sure.
with the xenia, the pulsing xenia, it always wants to grow upwards.
Yes.
It doesn't want to go sideways or anything else. So wherever it is, just set rock rubble all around it, and the rock rubble's higher than what its base is. And if there's nothing else that they can go onto, they go on to that rock rubble, and
Yep.
then you just pick it off and sell it.
You know what though? I know with Xenia, everybody talks about how some people consider it a weed, right?
It
Don't
is,
like it at all.
yeah.
I liked it, but I know that I tried to get it multiple times when I was in a women's frag trading group, and it didn't ship well. Did you have any trouble with shipping, or
Well,
did
I
you
was
never
never
ship?
shipping it. I was
Gotcha.
selling it to people in the city here.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, and again, things have advanced so much. Sometimes I'll say something and I'm like, "Oh, but I'm thinking 10 years ago." Now they know how to do that. That's no problem.
I
Um,
had a store that would buy the green star polyps from me and the pulsing xenia.
mhm.
And um, the old thing, well, I'll give you credit, store credit for it. And I said,
Of
no,
course.
Mhm.
that's not the way I do things. And I said, if you want it, it'll be cash.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so after a while, um, somebody, I guess, came to him asking for some. So he called me up and asked me if I could give him some. And so I said,
Kind of went from
you're
there.
happy with the cash, are you?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
after that, I got on a regular basis. I would just take a whole pile of it, take it down to him, and he'd put it in a tank, pay me the cash.
Awesome how that works out. Awesome. Um, just to finish up the triangle here, you guys know if you've watched this channel at all that I stuck with mainly snails as cleanup crew. I loved the many different snails. I really got into what they could do, and I fine tuned my seahorse tanks to where I could have macroalgae and buy snails as a cleanup crew that would not eat the macroalgae, right? Because some do, some don't. And I still have all that information if anybody's ever interested. But it really is just proof that you can do a seahorse tank in so many different ways. You can go super sterile. You can go more, with tank mates. You can go with certain, macros and or cleanup crew. I mean, there's just so many ways to do it, and it's gotten so much better. Like when Ray started, you couldn't do any of this stuff. It had to be sterile. And then when Holly started way back when, but when we got into it and got good, things started expanding, and you could all of a sudden do different things. Again, if you're just getting ready to start with seahorses, you've never done it before, maybe you're not, really advanced with saltwater, I would still say start with sterile seahorse tank, right? Just get to know your seahorses, figure them out. But the world has expanded, the hobby has expanded, and you can do so much more after you figure them out. It's just really cool to me.
Problem I have with cleanup crew, because of the fact they're called cleanup crew, excuse me, too many people think that it's the answer to keeping the tank clean. When in fact, the cleanup crew is just you're entering an intermittent or an intermediate stage of the process of the food coming from the waste, uh, from the feces from the seahorses down to getting the biological processes that happen. Um, so
A
snails and
really
crabs and
easy
that,
way to say what you're trying to say is
they're
the
just an
cleanup crew
intermediate.
might eat the stuff, but then
Yeah,
they're pooping it back out and it's still in the tank,
yeah.
right?
Well, they take some of the nutrient out from what they eat, but then they have their excrement and something else that small enough that we don't see it that feeds on it. But the thing is, each one is releasing more nutrient at each stage there. While it is taking some up, it's releasing more, and that's what increases this dissolved organic levels.
Well,
And
and yeah,
if you don't understand that this cleanup crew is not removing all that potential for the dissolved organics, then you're going to be in trouble. If you
sure.
understand that process, then you're going to do what you need to do anyway, even though you have the cleanup crew.
Well, and you guys know that I've done multiple different macros, and I personally like to make pretty macro tanks with macros in the tank, right? That would grow and be blue and red and breed beautiful colors. And yeah, they were, but I wasn't using them for nutrient export, because I was growing them and it was taking it up and using it and etc. But in my reef tanks or in my bigger seahorse tanks, I would use more of a refugium where I would have an algae scrubber or something. And that's the exact what Ray was just saying. With an algae scrubber, it's taking up the nutrients, but then you're removing it and getting it out of the tank, right? So I get what you're saying, Ray, because the cleanup crew takes it up, but they're still letting it back out and it's still in the water. And in my tanks where I had macros, it was taking it up and it would grow, and that has something to do with it, like because it's not releasing, it's growing off of it, but it wasn't doing the same job as say an algae scrubber or refugium where you're removing the algae and that stuff with it. So lots of different things we've talked about. right? I didn't have a real goal tonight, so we're just kind of chatting.
Yeah, compared to 25 years ago, the hobby has made great advances.
Oh my
We've
gosh.
learned we've learned things that we didn't like when I started. It was still, well, we got to have real slow flow,
Yep.
and in fact, you want the complete opposite.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. We've
Mhm.
proven that one. We've shown the flow dancing and the
But still,
seahorses bebopping in the filter or the
Mhm.
power heads. And I
but
mean,
that
oh my
advice
gosh, they
still
love flow.
pervades in the system, and people are still. I still see posts where people are talking about uh, keeping the flow slow for the
Yeah,
seahorse.
I see that too still.
You think by now it would have weeded its way out, but it hasn't.
Well, I mean, but think there's a lot of new people that just get on, they just jump in. They're not sure. They're reading old books. They're on Facebook and getting bad information. Whatever. You guys need to tell them all to come to Wine Wednesday. We'll tell them.
I don't think people read books anymore, not young people.
Well, I know that's true. I know that's. Don't get me on that because not only do I have young adult daughters, but I have a bunch of children at my job. So, not really, but they act like children, and it's so this generation. Don't get me started. Let's go back to seahorses. At least they're, we can figure them out.
They don't
Can't figure
talk
out
back.
this generation, huh?
They don't talk back.
They don't. They don't. Um,
They probably would if they could.
They probably would. I've seen seahorses get mad at me. I've seen them get mad at each other. Yeah, they can have attitudes. But anyways, um, I mean, good conversation. We kept it going, right? What
Yeah.
else, guys? Anything else?
I have a question.
Okay.
You have two cats now,
Yes.
and they're not up around your neck and around the seat
Nope.
back there.
Nope.
Anytime I ever sat down, the damn cats were all over me.
Right.
So this is a
Yeah.
really funny
I don't like
story.
cats.
So
That's probably why.
so hang on. Nope. Here's the funny story. If you know me, if you've watched this channel at all, we're going off the topic of seahorses, but you guys can always ask a question. So I had twin daughters. They turned 18 and they moved out. And I'm really, really, really busy at work, but I kind of like missed, I don't know, having something around, right? So I decided I was going to get an animal, a fur baby, and because my seahorses weren't breeding and they weren't, whatever. And so I went to a rescue and I looked up the cats and I found the most gorgeous. She is the most beautiful, pure white, just perfect face cat, right? And they told me she's shy, she's standoffish.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still thinking, okay, whatever. And so I want this cat, and they're trying to talk me out of it. They're like, no, if you haven't had a kitten or cat in a long time, and you want something that's gonna love on you and stuff,
And
this is
interact.
not the cat.
Yeah.
This is not the cat. And I was like, that's okay. I
Mhm.
literally have an entire bedroom
Mhm.
that this is gonna be for the cat, right?
Mhm.
And I decked it out with all this cat shit, and I mean, just it's ridiculous. Okay, I went overboard, and this cat came home. I've had it for a month now, and it's just now allowing me to brush it. It's and sadly, I know it was abused, right? So I'm willing, and
Mhm.
funny enough, it works out because I tried to let her out into the whole house, and
Mhm.
she came out and then kind of sniffed around and went back to her room. She likes
Yeah.
her room, she's
Mhm.
safe there, and so it's kind of worked out. But my daughters they have younger cats, my daughters do, and
Mhm.
brought them over to visit, and all of a sudden my cat, her name's Georgina, I
Mhm.
didn't name her, I don't like that name, but whatever, I kept her name, and she starts like caring for these younger cats, like licking them and
Uh-huh.
just loving on them. So that's why I got the second cat, So the second cat is basically the baby to the first cat. And yeah, they just stay in their room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I'll go in there, they'll meow. And I mean, I
Mhm.
keep the door open. It's not like they're locked
Yeah.
in there, but
They just want to stay in there.
they want to stay in their room. So I'm like, oh,
if it'll make you feel any better, that my second rescue dog I've had 2 years last September. It still won't come to me. Well, she'll come up to me and sniff at my fingers if I don't move. If I
yep.
move my hand, bang, she's gone like a flash.
See,
In
and
the
yeah,
wintertime here, uh, the furnace comes on, pipes are heating up, and that you'll hear a little click every
yep.
now and then, or if it's cooling, you'll hear a click every now and then. Bang, she's just gone like that.
Yep.
I'm scared of any noise.
Yeah.
Well, and
There's
that's it.
bottle
And
here.
Hmm.
It's got to the point now the ice has gone free there. And if I tip it up to drink it too fast and it goes clunk, bang, she's gone.
yeah. And what's really sad is to think about, like that's why I'm glad it's working for me. That's why the rescue is so worried and like, no,
Yeah.
are you sure? Because they
Yeah.
wanted to make sure it wasn't somebody who was going to get pissed off that she
That the
wasn't going to
cat
hop
doesn't
up on
want
my
to interact.
lap,
Yeah.
and but the thing is, it's terrible to think what these animals went through to, you know what I mean, to get
Yeah.
that scared of everything. And I know
Yeah.
there's personalities that are just like that, but like with this cat, I know something awful happened. And with the kitten, the second cat is only 4 months old. 4 months old, not a kitten, but
Hmm.
um,
Like a
and
teenager.
she's much more loving,
Hmm.
but like it's just people are freaking terrible. The
Hmm.
litter that this kitten came from, um, that somebody glued their eyes shut and put them behind a CVS. And yeah, I probably shouldn't even say that on YouTube because it's so terrible. But luckily, somebody found them. They
Oh.
got emergency surgery to vet. She's great. She can see everything's great. But it's just no wonder,
Yeah,
right? I
that's so
mean,
sad.
and same with seahorses, guys. Like if
Mhm.
they've been through a terrible, childhood for whatever reason,
Mhm.
if they're standoffish, maybe that's why. Give them time,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, we went way off into left field and we haven't had any questions. I know I haven't been here in a minute. I'm going to be here more often, and we can start like doing requests or coming up with specific topics for each week that we do this, so that people can come to hear about what they want to hear about instead of us just talking. Because if you guys don't ask questions, we're just going to talk, right? And I'm okay with
Yep.
that. I mean, I'm
Yep.
fine with that. I get to see my friends and talk with my friends. But we also want this to be advantageous to you guys, who might be getting ready to start with seahorses or whatnot. So ask questions and let us know if you want anything specific discussed. But for tonight, I'm going to call it really early. We never stop this early, but I'm going to because we're all tired. And we will be back not next week, but the week after, unless something else occurs in the meantime. If it does, I'll put something on social media, guys. But I will absolutely be here. I wish I better be more prepared. I don't even know where my phone is. Let me be more prepared and tell you guys the date real quick. All right. Because I know that, some people have said I need to be here, and that sometimes I liven it up, right? So on the 18th, we will be back. I
My
will be here.
birthday.
And what is it?
That's my birthday.
Oh my God. Now we're gonna have to do some
And then
real
10 days
social
after
media
that, it's
posts.
mine.
What?
Yep, and then
My
Ray's birthday.
So on the
my son
18th,
was on the 11th.
we're gonna have to do a double birthday party. So unless Holly, are you going out? I mean, like,
I don't know. Honestly, tomorrow we're going to Sacramento to celebrate our 30th anniversary because that's
aw.
also this month. So this whole month is going to be celebrating and doing different
Well,
stuff.
the thing
So
is, the thing
I
is,
don't know on my birthday yet. I'll most likely be here though. It
Okay,
is the
well,
middle of the week.
I was gonna say, if you can be here, we'll have you a party,
I'll
and then you can celebrate your birthday on the weekend, right?
have to bring my own cake, though. You guys can't.
I mean, I can make you one and show it, but
I'd rather eat it.
let's all go in together and send her a cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we will be back on the 18th and we'll have some fun stuff going on, sounds like. But I'll be getting more involved again, and I'll have some posts going to let you guys know what's going on. And of course, again, guys, anytime you want us to talk about, or you have questions or want us to talk about a specific topic, all you got to do is ask, because that's what we're here for. But for tonight, let's say well, Happy Wine Wednesday, and everybody go to sleep.